Today we're going to be installing a front skid plate on the front of this 5th Gen 4Runner. Some of the best protection that you can get is adding a good sturdy skid plate underneath your vehicle. This one's made by RCI Offroad. Thanks for RCI Offroad for sending this in. Also big thanks for Trail 4R to supply the 4Runner. This skid plate down here is a 1/4 inch aluminum skid plate. They also make a 3/16 steel version as well. You can get them powder coated black. This one is powder coated clear, but it's a cool aluminum color, so I like that a lot. The install today is going to be pretty simple for this front. It's just going to be take the skid plate off and bolt in the new skid plate. We do have all the other skid plates going back. We have a full set, but I'm going to make separate videos for those, so make sure you check back in the future. So step one is to get the vehicle on jack stands, or we put it on stilts today just to lift it up to make more room underneath. And now we're going to unbolt that skid plate. All right, to pull off this front TRD skid plate, it's 4 14 millimeters. We got 2 right here and then 2 back here. Also on our rig, we did the diff drop, so we have additional spacers on the undersides of the skid plate. So we just got to make sure that those are all going to fall out and don't hit you in the face when you're working underneath here. All right, so we're taking this off here. We've got 2 12 millimeters right here in the front that are, you're going to need an extension to grab. And then we've got 2 12 millimeters back here. It looks like there's probably maybe your diff drain area right here with another set of 2 12s, and you don't need to pull those off. So RCI supplies all the hardware for you. So all the hardware that we just took off, we don't need to use. Now there are 6 flat washers, and then there are 4 30 millimeter bolts. Those are brass looking. So those are going to go here and here for these tall guys. And then 2 of them also go up in the front underneath that front cross member. Now the longer ones that are silver, these ones get the nylon machine. So they're going to get a washer on it. They're going to go up through the skid plate like this. And then they're going to get this nylon washer spacer on the backside, and it's going to sit like that. And so there's 2 of those also. So that's going to go front and back right in there. And that's how this skid plate's going to get underneath the vehicle. So we just took the TRD skid plate off, and the TRD skid plate, when you install those, you have to remove these stock brackets that are right here, the 2 brackets that bounce back. So those come off. So since we had a TRD skid plate on here, we don't have these brackets anymore. Okay, so we're going to start with the middle bolts, the ones that go up to this cross member, and those are just the normal brass bolts that are provided. Oh, and I'm going to need that long extension. So I guess I'll go up first. There we go. Ready? Yeah. Actually sit up. Close. Hold on. There you go. Right there. Thanks. All right. We'll just put a few threads on. Here you go. All right, so the way that you install this with the nylon lock is you're going to put the bolt with the washer up through the skid plate, and then we're going to add the nylon up to the top, and then that screws right up into the cross member. There we go. So what we got going here is we actually have a pretty big gap here. So what we decided is we're just going to use this spacer. This came off of the TRD Pro skid plate. This was its spacer. And we're just going to put that up on the inside here. And then we're going to use an additional washer on this bolt, which is just provided by the shop for the most part. And now we're just going to thread that all the way up through the cross member and then put the nut up on the top. This bolt happened to work out perfectly. It's actually not coming really close to the radiator at all. So it's a great distance or great length of a bolt. It's probably close to 3.5 inches long. So that worked out well. And both of the nuts happen to be 14 millimeters. Not that it matters to you because yours is probably going to be set up slightly differently. So we're just going to tighten those up now. There we go. 22 foot-pounds is what I'm torquing these down to. When we were looking online, we found somewhere between 20 and 23 for the torque specs. So we're going to go to 22. Thanks for watching. We're super happy with the way these RCI skid plates went on. The back 4 bolts went on really great, and we did have to make a spacer there for the front 2 bolts because we were missing those brackets. When you did your TRD skid plate install and you happen to keep those brackets, you can actually reuse them and put them back into place, and then everything will bolt back together perfectly. I also think we should mention that this is a KDSS skid plate on here, and I do have a non-KDSS version, so just make sure that you are ordering the correct one when you do that. The next skid plate that's coming down the line is the transmission skid plate, so you can make sure to watch that video over here. Appreciate you watching. Hammer down on that subscribe button. Don't forget, keep crawling.